automation. Why is automation important to a real estate professional?
Because you've got like two precious commodities. You've got your dollars, and you've got to invest your dollars wisely and get a return on them, and your time. And your time.
What's up, everybody? David Kurz here with another episode of Real Talk Show. And this time it's a special episode because we have cigars, scotch, and what are you drinking?
It's a gin and tonic, summer drink.
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic, summer drink.
Because we're in San Diego in the summer. We're enjoying the LCA conference right now. And I am here with Howard Tager, owner, CEO of YLopo. If you're not on YLopo, you're freaking insane because the AI is crazy. But we're going to talk more about that.
This is
now.
your new thing, man, because
Right.
Seinfeld's got that coffee in cars with comedians. You're going to do cigars with CEOs.
And scotch.
Cigars with
Cigars
CEOs.
with
When you can
CEOs.
have like first one, you just go CEO, CEO,
Hey, listen,
CEO.
guys, I have already dubbed that. It's TM'd.
TM pending.
TM.
Excellent. Good idea.
I appreciate
Well, thanks
that.
for having me.
Well, cheers to you.
Cheers, man. It's
for
good
being
to
on
see
the
you.
show with me.
Yep.
And you spoke last year at our conference.
Yep.
We use your product, your software.
Yep.
I want you to tell me a little bit more because I look at you as a real estate technology entrepreneur who is just fucking killing the game. This is not your first company.
Right.
This is your third.
Third company, yep.
The other two you sold successfully at a high level. And now you're developing something that has artificial intelligence that's talking to the client directly without the agent having to really get involved. Tell me more about that, man.
So, we've been on a long journey, right? It hasn't been easy, right?
I know. I've been there for a couple years of it. Like, man, I'm in.
So I think the thing that I am really proud of is that for all three of my companies, and this is already now my biggest company from in terms of number of employees, our revenue, all that, most successful, but it wasn't always so successful, right? It's a journey. And we literally almost lost this company like a few times. Like we hit rock bottom, right? And what's cool is that each of the companies, we started in our living room, like just dining room, a bunch of people showing up with computers and just going zigging and zagging and trying to find our way. And then, and now we're really, really hitting it. And what we've done is we had to start somewhere. So we started we were like, okay, we could do what everyone else is doing in terms of, digital marketing for real estate, which is like classic Google, pay-per-click. I mean, we did that 10 years ago. Everyone's doing that.
Right.
So we wanted to make a name for ourselves, and it's more exciting to do something different, right?
Right.
So while everyone's kind of zigging, we zag, and we go really, really long into the science of Facebook. We start working with Facebook, and they're like, look, we've got this new digital marketing technology, and you could totally automate this whole experience because everyone's just manually posting, boosting posts, stuff like that. So we dig in with those guys, and we basically completely automate, lead generation and digital marketing working with Facebook, okay? Where our clients don't have to do anything. We're grabbing all the listings from the MLS. We're creating carousel ads. Folks are looking at homes that we already know they're predisposed to wanting to look at and create a whole seamless experience, right? So the first thing we did was automate the lead generation. Once we did that, then we set our sights on automating the lead nurture. So you can generate, I like to call them relationships because they're real people with real stories, not just leads, right? But how do you get these people to come back over and over again to your, site
platform,
and your platform, and not
development.
to Zillow and Redfin and Opendoor and Realtor.com and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we again rolled up our sleeves, started working with Facebook again, and started building a product just for real estate based on their dynamic remarketing technology.
Right.
And again, we automated the whole thing. So we kept bringing these consumers back over and over and over again. And what we found was, again, everybody was zigging. They were all sending consumers listing alerts through email.
Right.
Well, that's like a decade old.
Right.
So what we realized is the average consumer is going on social media 12 to 13 times a day.
Right.
So why not get a precise listing, a new listing on the market, let's say, a price reduction, whatever it is, in front of them on social media where they're going all day.
Right.
And then we doubled, tripled the return to site rates, right? So now we automated the nurture process, automated the lead gen, then automated the nurture. Now we're taking it to the next level where we're automating the conversation. So
That's what I'm talking
we
about.
generated it, they're coming back, and then they're coming back, and certain people are like doing really heavy duty stuff. Like they're looking at a single home for the 5th time. They're sharing a home with their significant other. You know, they're favoriting a lot of homes. So now we developed this digital assistant. We call her Raya, Raiya, Raya, real estate AI, your assistant, okay? And she's a completely automated ISA. ISAs are expensive. Like most realtors can't really afford an ISA. It's going to cost them
even though it's $10 an hour, they can't afford it.
$10 an hour. It could be $4 to $6 grand a year, like whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So we've actually developed this automated assistant who could have 500 conversations simultaneously. She never goes on vacation. She's never a problem to manage, right? She's always working. And
You mean she doesn't take days off?
no days off, right? And she's always positive, right? But the science behind it is we already know what the consumer is interested in, and we have the MLS data that's always changing. The consumer search paper is always changing. So we take all this data that's always changing. So instead of just a bland like chatbot message like, "Hey, can we help you?" We're like, "Hey, David, you've been looking at $600,000 condos in downtown Miami. We got a couple that just came on the market. I'm gonna send them to you right now." So you think you're actually talking to someone real because they're on what you're already looking for. They're on it precisely.
Right.
And you're like, thanks, that's cool. And then we get a conversation going, right? And they're literally, my clients are looking at a 2-hour conversation going on. That's just happening between Raya, who's a computer, right?
The computer
and the consumer.
Not them involved.
And at some point,
So-
we're not replacing agents, right? We're making agents' lives easier, and we're giving them the technology that even the big companies don't have.
So that leads to my question. You said
Yep.
2 things that I want to touch on before we finish this interview with you. One thing was, the first thing that I want to touch on is automation. Why is automation important to a real estate professional?
Because, you know, you've got like 2 precious commodities. You've got your dollars, and you've got to invest your dollars wisely and get a return on them,
Time.
and your time. And your
Yeah.
time, I would argue, is even your more precious
More
commodity.
valuable. Yeah.
So we know industry-wide, like how many conferences have you been to? You can't go to a real estate conference and not have someone say, real estate agents don't get back to all their leads. They don't
Right.
answer their phones, they get back to all their leads, they're
Right.
not texting, not
Right.
push listings, all this
It's
stuff.
almost impossible.
Almost impossible.
Even with the best CRM, it's almost impossible because a real estate agent can handle only so many deals
Right.
before they start losing
And
track.
also, who do you reach out to? Who do you proactively reach out? It's overwhelming. An agent
Yeah.
comes in the office and they got this whole database and who they talk to.
Yeah.
Raya takes care of all of that. She knows who to talk to. She knows what to tell them. She knows what listings to send, right? She gets this conversation going. So now the agent doesn't have to worry about doing all that. They can actually pick up a conversation with a consumer who's really ready to go. So we're actually now in the process of literally linking like through Calendly. So it'll end up in an appointment, all the way from lead gen through
To
lead
Calendly
nurture,
to
through the
appointment.
conversation to the appointment,
That's awesome.
right? So who doesn't want that?
That's the ultimate extreme of automation. Something already automatedly talking to a potential buyer
Right.
or seller,
Or
for
seller.
that matter, and taking it all the way to appointment. One day you open your Google Calendar and you realize you have a buyer consultation today. That's insane, man.
And the
That's insane.
devil's in the details, brother.
Yes.
Because what happens if someone says, "Well, you know, like I'm, you know, my mom passed away, and so I got to sell her house," right? So the AI is so smart; it's learning all the time. It will literally say, "I'm really sorry for your loss," and then it keeps the conversation going. So it's so dialed in that it can have this real conversation and even be sensitive to someone who's just, let's say, had a loss in their family. It's really crazy, man.
All right, so now we got automation. It's down packed. You need this for your business. But I want to touch on something real quick. We got 3 minutes left.
No problem.
All right. I want to touch on something. You said, my business started in the dining room.
That's right.
I want people to understand how long it takes to put a successful business together and how long it takes, where it starts, where it ends, if it ever ends, and the definition of failure, because I don't believe in failure.
Yeah. So my greatest successes, and it'll sound cliche, but it's really true in my life. My greatest successes have come from me learning from failures. I think
But are
I think
they
there's
failures? See, here's my thing.
They're not if you learn from them. So
right. So they're not failures.
that's right.
So can we take away the word failure and say, you learned from your biggest hiccups, or you learned from your biggest mistakes, or you learned from your biggest humps that have come in your business, but not failures, because failure means you fucking quit. You
Look,
quit.
you're trying stuff, right? And not
Right.
everything you try is going to
gonna
work,
work.
but you can learn from that and have
got two choices,
You got to be
right?
resilient, man.
But you got
gotta
two
be-
choices. You could cry in the corner and give up and quit,
Right.
or you can be resilient like you have been
That's right.
and build a hell of a business.
Right. If you just go back and look at the past and just cry about it, you're going nowhere.
Right.
If you look about the past and say, oh, we did this, but what happens if we tweaked a little bit and do this, right? And learn from it. Not cry about it, just learn from it. And like I said, we've really done that. And it's just, you just have to be tenacious, keep going, not cry over it, move on. You got to be tough when the chips are down, man. You got to keep going.
Rock it out. Brother, I always appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate
And
you too.
guys, if you missed last year, Howard Tager was on the stage. He took the stage and killed it. And this year, he's coming back to the stage. Go to realtalkconference.com, therealtalkcon.com, and you're going to see Howard one more again.
It's a great conference, man. I'll see you guys there.
See you guys there.